Thank you for joining us on this Thursday of the Word of Encouragement. Today I'd like to go to Jeremiah 17. The first part of this chapter contrasts those who are cursed because of their lack of trust in the Lord and those who are blessed. Remind you of Psalm 1. In fact, some of the same imagery is used in both of those. And it's wonderful to go over this, but let me just point out a couple of things. Verse 5, Thus saith the Lord, Cursed is the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Lord. That's pretty strong language. Cursed is the man that trusteth in man. This is something that's natural for us. We trust in man. We live among other people. We trust ourselves oftentimes, and we trust people that we're close to, and we have a desire to trust other people. In fact, there's that nature in us because we are made for God to idolize certain people. That's just a natural thing. And so people will trust in people because they want someone that they can trust. But the Bible says very clearly, Cursed be the man that trusteth in man. If we trust in man and not God, we are in trouble. Man will always let us down. Man's ways are not God's ways. Our ways are not God's way. If we trust in our own strength, if we trust in somebody else's strength, if we're looking for relationships to make us happy, if we're looking for situations in which we are lifted up and we get the acclaim of man, if we look to any of these things, we're going to end up not being in a blessed state. It's not going to be that which is going to meet the deep need of our heart. In fact, the Bible says, Cursed, and maketh flesh his arm, depending upon the strength of man to accomplish what's important in life. But what I want us to notice is that last phrase of verse 5, and whose heart departeth from the Lord. You see, it's one thing maybe to be fooled a little bit about trusting in someone or not realizing that you're trusting yourself. But it's another thing because you are willfully trusting in man over God, your heart then is moved away from the Lord. See, that's the problem. That's idolatry. Whatever it is that we're trusting has become our God. That's what we think will make us happy. That's what we think will give us purpose in life. And frankly, many Christians are guilty of that. That's why twice you'll find in the New Testament that Christians are warned not to be involved in idolatry. Not that they were involved in the pagan worship, though in 1 Corinthians it looks like some had gone back to that. But those verses are directly speaking about spiritual idolatry, in which we trust the strength of man, trust ourselves versus God. And when you lose that heart for God, when he no longer is precious to you, when no longer do you sacrifice to get up and spend time with him, you don't value what he says, the word is not what is directing you, well, whether you realize it or not, you are in a cursed state. In fact, what it says, for he shall be like a heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, and in a salt land and not habited. That's exactly, you talk about a Christian who's dry and empty, well, there it is, when we don't trust in him completely. But as verse 7 is, Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord, and whose hope the Lord is, he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, just like Psalm 1. Well, my friend, I want to encourage you today that you will not stay encouraged if you look to man. If you're trusting government, if you're trusting a party, if you're trusting a candidate, if you're trusting being acclaimed by man, a relationship or whatever, or your own strength, you're going to be let down. Get back to walking with God. Trust him, and you will find yourself truly encouraged.